Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Mindy and I could not be more excited for the book that we are starting, none other than Oathbringer. This is the third in the Way of Kings series, and so we have the Way of Kings, Wars of Radiance, and now Oathbringer. This is a magnificently large book and it has a grand total of 1306 pages. So yeah, I do feel a touch intimidated by this book, but I actually shared on TikTok that I was starting this book and so many people said that this is their favorite of the series, so I am very excited. So I did start it already and I'm on page 24, so not too far in, but this is our starting spot and we've just picked up where we left off in Words of Radiance, and I just get that familiar feeling of like, yeah, we're back in Brandon Sanderson's world, we're back in the thick of things, and there's so much going on, there's so much happening, and I don't feel like I have the presence of mind at the moment to try to articulate it. We will come back and we will explore the happenings of this world. But for now, we're starting the book, and let's keep reading. Okay, so I'm working on cooking supper, so that's why I'm in the kitchen, but I wanted to give a little update on my reading progress. I have been reading for a week and I'm less than 200 pages. I'm like 178 pages along, so not too far in, but it did take me a little bit to become like emotionally attached, emotionally involved, because you know, it's been a few months since I read Words of Radiance, and also it's just, there's so much happening, so many characters that it takes you a little bit to get into it. But once I did get through the first little bit, and there were some plot twists that started happening, I'm starting to become more excited. I'm actually starting to think about it when I'm not reading it, and I'm like, I want to get back into it, so that's a very good sign. So I will do my best to not give any spoilers. I will just talk as though you have read The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, because it's kind of hard to know what to say if you haven't read those books. So be warned that if you haven't read anything from this series, then you might get some spoilers. So we are just following this group of characters: Dalinar, Adolin, Navani, Shallan, Kaladin, or is it Kaladin? Kaladin, I think is how you pronounce it. So we're following, you know, this set of characters in Uritharu. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of this city, but they have gone to that city, and now Dalinar's trying to figure out, you know, there's some murderers happening, there's some big changes, and obviously the Everstorm is returning, and there's the desolations happening, and so he's trying to unite the world, and he's having a really hard time doing that. There is one character that, I don't know if I want to say who it is, but there's a character that has actually agreed to unite with him that I'm like, ooh, this is gonna get interesting. Shallan is practicing her light weaving skills and becoming more practiced. She's growing and changing and developing, and I love to watch her journey of transformation. Kaladin, it's so cool watching him be a windrunner, watching him fly around, and currently he has been captured, and I don't know what's gonna happen. And that's actually like literally where I am right now. So this evening I will hopefully get some more reading done, and I think that's all that I have to say. I mean, Kaladin is just exploring right now to see how much damage the Voidbringers have done, so we don't know yet how much damage the Voidbringers have done, and there's been some confusion over what's happening because they actually seem to be different than everybody's expecting them to be. So anyway, let's read. It is 2 weeks later again, and first of all, I have to apologize. We got a little sicky around here, and my voice is just sounding a little bit off because of that, but I have been reading slowly. I do not like to read fast. In fact, that's one way that you can tell that I'm enjoying a book, is if I am reading slowly. If I start reading fast and like skimming, you know that I'm not enjoying the book. So that's one reason why it's taking me so long. But oh my goodness, I am eating it up. It took me like, I don't know, 100 to 200 pages to like really get into it, just because there's so much in it. But I'm at page 337 currently. We're at like the first set of interludes, and I am just blown away. I don't even know how to summarize my thoughts. Like, Brandon Sanderson is a genius, and I feel like I am relatively new to reading novels and stuff, but I have never read a book, a world, a series so well developed and so thoroughly written. Like, it's amazing. And like, as I was reading, we actually were on a road trip this past weekend, so I was reading in the car, and I just kept thinking like, oh, I have to talk about this in the video. I have to let you guys know some of these things, but I don't know. It's so hard to know what Dalinar is remembering his wife, and obviously that is a little freaky because he doesn't know why he's remembering her, that he wasn't supposed to remember her. And so we're getting some flashbacks into his past, and it's very fascinating, I must say, and I am very intrigued to see more of his past. With Dalinar, he's just continuing to try to unite all of the world to fight against the Voidbringers, and it's not going too well yet, but he's still in that journey. That's where he's in, and Adolin is pursuing, investigating murders that have been happening. We also have, I feel like it's been following Shalyn like heavily during the first part of the book. It's following Shalyn quite heavily, and so we get a lot of her, which I actually really enjoy her point of view. So she is also helping Adolin. I also love their romance. It is so sweet, and seeing Adolin actually fall in love with her is just mwah. Like, I just am eating it up so much. It is just absolutely sweet. So I love their relationship. So Shalyn is working with Adolin to help him discover and investigate these murders, and they encounter something very interesting, and I just got through that part. And after that part where they encounter this very evil being, then another huge plot twist happens, which I actually did pick up on it because of the ending of Words of Radiance. There's like the epilogue in Words of Radiance gives you a little glimpse, and also if you know who this is on the cover, which it does say like in the prologue in this book, I believe. Is it in the prologue or I think it's in the acknowledgement section. It does say who this is, but I don't know if you guys know who this is, but we just meet her again, and so I'm very excited about that part. Also then, Kaladin's part in this book is that since he can fly, he is out, away from Urithiru, I believe is how you say it. He is gone from the city. He is searching for the Voidbringers, trying to figure out what's going on with them. I think I might have said this already in a previous clip, that he had gotten taken captive. The high storm started coming back, and so he now was able to like recharge his Stormlight, refuel, refresh, and he was able to fly again, so he was able to escape. I'm going to do my best to not say any spoilers, so please forgive me if I do unintentionally say something, but you can imagine there is a lot that happens in here, a lot that I am not saying, so I'm going to do my best to not give any spoilers. But he does escape the captivity because now he can fly with the high storms, and so because of that, then he discovers something else insane. I just feel like Brandon Sanderson just keeps taking the magic and just expanding it and just keeps like growing it and making it get more and more epic, and I'm like, wow, like I feel like I have to read this series 10 more times in my lifetime and I still probably wouldn't even get everything. So anyway, he discovers even more magical things that he can do. With the Voidbringers, I feel like we're being set up, okay? We're being set up for something very shocking because so far, like what they have discovered with the Voidbringers, it's very different than what they were expecting, and so I feel like we are being set up for something that we don't know what we're being set up for, obviously. So I'm gonna be shocked, okay? I think my jaw is gonna be on the floor and I'm gonna be like, ah. My husband laughs at me whenever I'm reading in front of him and I just keep exclaiming over different things, and he's like, we just laugh about it because I go crazy over this book, over this series. And also with Kaladin and the Voidbringers and the Parshmen and all of that, I feel like Brandon Sanderson is diving into some very deep topics like morality, and just like so much deep stuff is talked about, questions that are asked. I love how, like, with the Spren, with Syl, with the Stormfather, and like just all the values that are being held up through the characters, it's just like there are so many deep topics that are being explored and I love it. But anyway, I've talked for way too long about this, guys. I'm sorry. Please go read this book for yourself. Read this series for yourself if I haven't convinced you already. And let's keep reading. I do not remember at what point that I talked about this book last, but we are almost at 500 pages. I'm at page 485. So yeah, we are definitely like chugging along and getting somewhere. But my thoughts about this book, I feel like at this point, I am slightly disappointed, and I don't know if the plot just feels like it's moving slower now. It's still interesting, like in all of my criticisms and feelings of disappointment, like it's still good, it's still very well written, and the details are excellent and the characters are very good. But I will say that I feel like maybe my expectations were just a little bit too high, and I'm feeling a little, maybe I'm not in the mood for the book. I don't know what's going on, but I'm actually somewhat disappointed right now, and I'm just kind of struggling to feel engaged. And I know I had been sharing on TikTok about the book, and I had a lot of comments of people saying that this is their favorite book of the series. And so maybe I just had too high of expectations. I really don't know, but I've been reading about this one section after this major plot twist happens and a certain person comes back onto the scene. It really changes things up in Eurytheru, I believe is how you say it. So it really changes the scene and different things start happening. But I feel like suddenly the plot slowed, or like there's just different things that I'm like, I don't know what to think. And then we also, in this section, section 2, we are having Bridge 4 perspectives. So we have different chapters that are in separate Bridge 4 members, which is cool to see different things about them, but it's also not my favorite part. I don't know why. There's something about this part that I'm struggling to get through. The other thing is that there was a certain character that the author chose to make homosexual, and I don't mean any hate on anybody, but personally I just don't agree with that, and so I did feel disappointed in that choice in particular. But yeah, other than that, like, I am enjoying it. Like, it truly is interesting, it's well written, and I feel like at some point it has to pick up. Like, that ending is going to be a banger. That's what I'm fully expecting. So I know that it's going to get better, but for now, I feel like I'm just kind of struggling just a bit. But anyway, that's my update, and I'm really looking forward to finishing this book. We're almost 4 weeks into this book, and I have just reached page 750, so we're making progress, but still have a ways to go. And I will say, after reaching the third part, I believe, it has definitely picked up. After getting through all the parts with Bridge 4, I have gotten into it, and I keep thinking about it, I keep wanting to read it, and it's really good. So we have Kaladin, Elhokar, Adolin, and Shallan, plus a few other people who all went to the capital of Alethkar. I cannot remember the name of the city, but they went there. They are discovering things in the city, exploring, figuring out what's going on, and Shallan's powers are so stinking cool. I could literally read about Shallan so much, and yeah, it's very, very, very good, and I expect that the end, this last section of the book, is going to just be chock full of amazingness and awesomeness, and I'm very much looking forward to finishing it. So it's Monday, we have a new week ahead of us, so let's try to get as much reading done this week as possible. It is now officially a month since I've started this. It's Wednesday, and so the past couple of days I have carved out the time this week to read, and I've just been focusing more on reading this week. And unfortunately, this binding is trash. I bought this book on Thrift Books and it was new, but I don't know, that literally just chunks of pages are coming out, so that's really annoying. But this book is really incredible, and honestly, I don't even really know what to say because I feel like whatever I'll say is going to be spoilers, so I don't really know what to update you on, just to say that it's incredible. And like I don't feel like it's slow. I feel like it's keeping pace, and it's the character development is just wild. And that is one thing we get a lot of is Dalinar's backstory. We get a lot of flashbacks to his past, and it's really fascinating. His story is brutal and deep, and you're examining some very deep, almost like theology type things, like just the cruelty of having to make very, very difficult choices and then having to suffer for them after the fact. And it's very thought provoking, and just seeing the man that Dalinar is becoming. And I'm very interested to see where his story goes, because there's definitely something in him. And then we're following Kaladin, Adolin, Shallan, and then another character that is added to the little group that they have. The Voidbringers have returned. Things are not necessarily going too well for that, and definitely makes for an interesting story. Otherwise, I don't really know what to say because I don't want to give you spoilers. So yeah, I mean, it's great, and I'm definitely interested to keep going, and I'm on page 962. So I'm pretty sure I'll finish this sometime within the next week, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm so ready to be done with this book. So you guys, I am at exactly 200 more pages left in this book. We're at page 1098, so that's very exciting. And on top of my book literally breaking with the binding, my bookmark also broke. My husband 3D printed this for me and it came apart, and then this piece broke too. So I don't know what's with everything breaking, but I feel like this book is slightly different from the first two, and I'm not even sure what it is, but it almost feels less action-packed, if that makes sense. I would love to hash it out with somebody who has read the book, so let me know what you guys think of it, but if you have read it. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's very good, and I have had so many people tell me that this was their favorite. And I think that might be because of Dalinar's backstory, because you get a lot of Dalinar's backstory in here, and it is very fascinating. But then we have Kaladin, Shallan, Adolin, and then another character who are together in a specific place, and they are stuck, and they are trying to escape. And that part of it, I feel like it's dragging on a little bit for me, and I really want them to just get out of there and to just figure it out already. So I actually don't think that this is my favorite book out of the series, but it's not to say that it's bad. It's not to say that I'm not enjoying it. It's just, it's not my favorite out of the series. I don't think so. But yeah, it's very fascinating. We are discovering a lot of things. There's a lot of history that comes out. We find a lot of just backstory and information in general. And so it's really good. And I have definitely had those moments of oh my goodness, I can't believe that just happened. I have to keep reading and find out what's going on. I have had those multiple times. I had one this morning. So definitely really good, and I'm highly invested, but I'm really hoping to finish it this weekend. I'm so tired of reading this book because it's been over a month, and I'm like, I just want to finish it. Guys, I did it. I finished the book. It's done. I must say, I became slightly consumed by this book yesterday, but the reason why is because it was Saturday and it was just like a chill Saturday. We didn't really have much going on, so I was able to just like focus for once. And so I just read. I had like less than 200 pages, and so I was able to just finish it. I finished it last night around 6 o'clock, and I have not stopped thinking about it since then. So it is a little bit difficult to know how to talk about it without giving out any spoilers, but generally, to put it into as much of a summary as I possibly can, it basically is the first couple hundred pages is all of the people in Urithiru, and they're just like exploring, trying to figure out what's going on, and they also have some murders to investigate. There are some things happening that are very odd, and so they explore, and Shalyn discovers one of the unmade. She manages to get it out of the tower. And so they have that happen, which is an extremely fascinating story. And then we just get glimpses into Dalinar's backstory, and it happens like over the span of the entire book, and it gets heavier and darker the further that you go, but it does not really start off that dark. So we just get little glimpses into his backstory, and then as we move on into the next part, we get a lot of Bridge 4's perspective, and we get a lot of like different POVs and different men from Bridge 4, which was not my favorite part of the book. I felt like I was not confused, but I was almost a little bored with that part where it was just like, okay, I feel like I could have done without all the different POVs there, but yeah, it was still good. And then we just keep getting more of Dalinar's backstory, and then it moves into, as we move on, we also have Kaladin, who is exploring, trying to figure out what's happening with the Voidbringers, and they are confused because they're like, well, what's going on with the Voidbringers? Like, they're not acting the way that we expect them to act, and this is different than what we expected, and so they're confused about that, and so Kaladin does make it back to Urithiru, and eventually Kaladin, Shalyn, Adolin, and Elhokar, plus a few bridgemen and some other people, go to Kholinar, I believe it's called, which is the capital of Elethkar. So they go there because the Voidbringers are about to capture that city, and they want to hold the city from the Voidbringers. So they go there, and they discover some really weird things happening, and the city has not fallen yet. And basically just a lot of crazy stuff happens, okay? Like, a lot of crazy stuff happens. And eventually they get to the Oath Gate, and they want to reclaim it so that they can use it to transport people from Urithiru to Kholinar. But it ends up that they can't use it. And so Shalyn decides she's going to use it anyway. So they basically force it to work and get transported to an entirely different place, which I don't think I can even summarize like what it is or how it works because it's so stinking complex. But they go there to basically to this entirely different world, and they have to navigate in that world and discover how to get out of it. And the way that they get out of it is actually unexpected and very insane. My mind was blown, but yeah, they eventually get out of it in this very unconventional, interesting way. And also, in conjunction with that, we just have Dalinar's backstory that gets super, super dark and very sad and very heavy. Just prepare to be wrecked and prepare to just not be okay because it's very, very bad. And I loved it though. Like it was woven so well with the way that the story works out. Like it felt like a weaving. Like Brandon Sanderson is a master craft at weaving the story together. And so the end of the book, like this part of the book is literally the best. Like all of this is good, but the end is just like like yeah, I loved the last little bit of the book, and I would say that battle was absolutely epic. They had to fight an epic battle at the end, and the way it just went from character to character to character, and that part of it did not feel the same way as the Bridge 4 perspectives did. Like this perspective shift felt way different and so much better, and I was just blown away by the way that they did that battle. And I was at first like, this is like, they're not going to win it. Like, they're just going to lose. But let's just say that it was epic. And the ending of the book has me on the edge of my seat for Rhythm of War. Guys, I read it, I did it, and I'm happy that I did it. And I also think that I want to reread this series. Like, it was so good and so detailed that I actually feel like I could not take in all of the details because it was just so much. And so I want to reread it and be able to get all of those details the second time around. And I feel like it will click a lot more, even more in my head. So yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you read this series and that you find it as enriching as what I did. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.